find a Blade Splicer, I actually like Han's chances very much game 1. Games 2 and 3 become much harder because even without Blade Splicer, just a mixture of Celestial Purges and timely reinforcements can win the game even outside of Blade Splicer.
Yep.
So basically, I believe it's very important for Han to win this game while he's on the play, because I don't see him winning 2 sideboarded games, one of which he'll be on the draw for. I
agree. And Etzel's going to take a mulligan.
Right.
What I have found, and I especially relate this back to the coverage I did to Columbus with Joey Pasco, when Zombies was playing against Delver, they won every game 1.
Yeah.
And they lost the sideboard games. They lost them pretty handily.
Yeah.
Because of Purge, because of Timeline, because of Snapcaster's interaction with both of those cards.
Yes.
It's just too much for a deck without any card advantage to overcome. But game 1, where you're rushing down your opponent and they don't really have a good way to stop the rush down or to gain life or have a good removal spell to take care of Draw's Messenger, it's just too difficult for them to win.
Yeah.
So I would expect, as you said, for Han to win game 1, especially with Alex mulliganing this game. I mean, ideally he'll keep 6 cards, but if he does mulligan to 5, I think if Han has kept a reasonable 7 cards, he should be up a game.
And I was talking before about my build with the split of discard. This matchup would be a very good example. If I was playing against Etzel's deck, I would absolutely want Despise, but not the other discard spells.
Sure.
Because in the sideboarded games, the things that actually matter are, and it looks like Etzel's going down to 5 here, the cards that absolutely matter after board are Blade Splicer and Snapcaster Mage, because Snapcaster Mage becomes dramatically better in the post-board games because of Celestial Purge, and to a lesser extent, Timely Reinforcements.
Sure.
So I would be very happy to bring in some copies of Despise, but I would not want Distress or Duress against him.
And it's funny, I'm thinking now, as Alex mulligans to 5, the way that my mind works, if I'm Han playing the Zombies deck, I feel like I'm favored game 1, and this is the game where I don't want my opponent to mulligan.
Right,
to 5.
you're wasting all your run goods.
Yeah, I'm wasting the opportunity for the mulligan. I want him to be mulliganing game to 5 and game 3 when I'm going to likely be on the play, and I have to get a little bit fortunate to win.
Yeah. All right. Etzel very frustratingly looking at his 5.
Ugh. No turn 1 play is not something that makes me too thrilled if I'm Han. They're too important in this matchup. All right.
So he's going to dismember, it looks like?
Sure.
If I'm reading correctly?
That is correct. That will be a dismember.
That implies that he has some sort of play on turn 2.
I would hope that he has a 2 and a 3, because he cannot play a fair game. He needs to get the pressure on as quickly as he can. Blackcliff Cleaves, probably the Highborn Ghoul? Yes. Yep. Draw for Etzel. We're going to see a Ponder, so Mana Leak is not going to be in the equation this turn.
Yeah. Yeah, he can't really afford to sit on Leak. He's got to kind of just do his stuff. Also, Han's significant cards are also Aristocrat. So you can't really play around Messenger and just not cast your Ponder, especially if he doesn't have a 3rd land drop.
Sure, no, you certainly can't do that. I definitely agree with you. Draw a card. We're going to see the
Gataxian Probe, which is he's got to have a very good reason to want to do this. So we're looking at a hand of Aristocrat, Brimstone Volley, and 2 Swamps. So Etzel definitely being rewarded for not holding up his Mana Leak, since as it stands right now, Han actually has nothing to do on his 3rd turn.
Yeah, I don't hate Han's Keep, but I don't love it either. And
there's
Gutshot's
a gut shot.
Rule. So it's like rather important that he draws something this turn to put into play. Because his hand just isn't aggressive enough. I mean, Messenger is obviously the best draw, and he has no play here. Thought Scour is going to resolve to clear off some of the cards from the Ponder. Cantrip over, and now Aristocrat is going to be staring down a Mana Leak.
Yep.
I think that just mulliganing into a hand with the 1-drops is just far too important in this matchup.
I mean, it's hard. He almost certainly has drawn a bunch of lands kind of since then. I think it's hard to, if you're looking at a hand with Aristocrat, Brimstone Volley, and this is going to eat a leak, yeah. If you're looking at a hand of Aristocrat, Brimstone Volley, Highborn Ghoul, 4 lands, and you have red mana in the hand as well, I think it's just too hard to throw that back.
Well, I mean, I just don't think that that's the way that you're going to go about winning the game. I think you're just going to give him too much time. I mean, yes, Alex did mulligan to 5, but you kept your hand not knowing that. And if he has any reasonable hand of 7 cards, I don't think that that's going to win him the game, that opening hand.
Yeah.
I know that having the red mana, as you said, is super important, but...
And Etzel's still stuck on 2 mana here.
He's going to come in for 2.
And he's missing white.
Yeah, and he's missing white, so there's no fear of Blade Splicer right now. He is doing a nice job playing around Mana Leak right now, but this is going to draw out a Snapcaster Mage and a Gut Shot more than likely.
Does he have Are we confirmed he has Snapcaster in hand?
I am fairly sure there's a Snapcaster Mage in his hand. And I feel like we're going to find out shortly.
Yeah.
I know from Han's side, we know that
Although it's a little weird with Han under no pressure. Oh, sorry, with Alex under very little pressure. I would imagine that if he actually did have Snapcaster Image in his hand, he would want to just Snapcaster. All right, there's a Metamorph. That's going to need a leak. I would imagine that if he had Snapcaster in his hand, he would have wanted Snapcaster Gitaxian Probe on like one of the turns where he's just sitting here with just doing nothing.
Sure. How do you feel about casting Metamorph that turn?
I like it.
Okay. Just make him have the second leak?
Yeah, because there's because of what you're describing, the threat of Snapcaster Mage, there's a possibility that the turn goes really bad for you if you don't use your mana.
There's a Gut Shot.
This is also part of the reason that I like, bring it up again, why I like Walking Corpse is that Gut Shot is just, this is a disaster,
Yeah.
If he was casting Walking Corpses this game, I don't think it would be particularly close.
Oddly enough, I agree with you. And the last card in his hand is
You got to fire off
Volley.
this Brimstone Volley. What do you wait? It's not going to get better than this.
Yeah, it's not going to get better.
He can't leak it.
Yeah, he can't leak it. It's not ever going to get better. It's going to deal its 5 damage to put him to 5. So. He still opts not to cast it. Okay, looks like he's going to cast it now. Okay, sure.
Okay.
That's going to put him to 5.
I think he just drew another leak. It's sort of the, for Etzel, sort of the annoying part of Han flooding out a little bit here.
Going to resolve. Thought Scour is going to clear some things. White Source is rather important. Passes back. An attack for 2. It's going to put Mr. Etzel down to 3. Brimstone Volley can finish it, but there's just no follow-up.
Says go again.
Uno? Alright. Yeah, all these white cards.
Wow.
Yeah, all
a handful of Restoration Angels and Blade Splicers.
Yep. Tough mulligan of 5 there for Alex.
I said if you could take the 4 Blade Splicers out of the deck, the matchup is more favorable. What's even better is
Okay.
making him draw a bunch of Blade Splicers you can't cast.
Sure. That's even better. That's the best possible outcome.
Yeah.
So going
between his mulligan and the cards he drew, he was actually on 0 cards that game. He had 5 deads and down 2 of his mulligans.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
All right. We have a trivia question. This is for a Gen Con badge, so remember, you want to hashtag SCG Premium. We will draw 1 person at random after this match is over. The winner will get a free 4-day badge to Gen Con. Very valuable and very, very fun.
Very valuable, I agree.
So we've been discussing a lot of the dynamics of this matchup and the way that Alex's deck is built in such a way that makes it much harder, in my opinion and Cedric's opinion on Han here. What 3-drop white creature is specifically disastrous for the zombie deck that is featured in Alex Etzel's deck? What is the name of the 3-mana white creature?
And if you guys are able to somehow
noodle this one through,
somehow, some way, be able to figure this out, we will award you with a Gen Con badge, the 4-day badge. We're not cheap here. We're not going to give you the 1 day. We're going to give you the 4-day badge for Gen Con. You guys can have the time of your life down at Indianapolis with the best gaming convention, pretty much of the year, I would say.
Yeah. I haven't been to one better.
Yeah, I have not been to one better.
There might be a better one out there, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. So definitely go to hashtag SCG Premium. Name the 3-mana white creature in the Delver Secrets deck. That is an absolute nightmare.
Can never win.
Yeah, can't win itchies ever. for the zombie deck.
That was my the zombie deck that I played in Baltimore for the Invitational. As I want to do, no games played before the tournament.
Yes, an expert.
And I have a bye, and then my first round is against Todd.
Okay.
And there's Todd Anderson. There's always some amount of nerves. I have this experience all the time. When I'm shuffling up, I haven't played this deck before the tournament. It's kind of all theory craft, and I'm like, I wonder how this tournament's gonna go. And Todd's just like instantly, like on the play, plays a Blade Splicer, and I'm like, this was a terrible mistake. I have a hand of just like different two power guys or whatever.
They're just a Golem token you can't possibly beat.
Yeah, game 3, he's like Spell Skype Blade Splicer, and I'm like,
Okay.
oh my god.
Why's he got to make it personal?
Yeah, dude, you don't have to do all this. Either one of these things would be fine. You don't need both of them to beat me.
I'm just here trying to play an honest game.
Right. Have you seen the cards in my hand? It looks like a bunch
corpse.
of draft decks threw up. You know what I mean? You don't need to do this.
I'm very familiar with a bad constructed deck. Don't worry, it's part of my specialty.
It happened to me, the burn deck I played in Columbus in that Grand Prix a few years back, where I'm just like, I got the nerves, I got my one bye, and my opponent's on the play goes turn 1 top, turn 2 counterbalance, and I'm like, well, this was stupid.
The good thing is I think the nerves are important though.
Oh yeah.
The nerves mean that you still kind of want it, that you're still getting the enjoyment out of it.
Well, it's exciting. It's like going on a blind date. When you haven't played a game before the tournament.
Sure.
You drop your 7 and I'm like, I don't know, it looks like we got some good chemistry here. I mean, it's still, the night's still young or whatever, but we're not off to a bad start. I don't know.
It only takes 2 turns to find out that your date is a psychopath.
Yeah.
That's
what happened to me in Atlanta this year, the Legacy Grand Prix. I drove my first 7. I'm like, this was a mistake. This was a mistake. Something went off the rails here.
So you can't blame your friend for setting you up with a terrible blind date. It's all on you.
Yeah, this is just me.
It's all on you. You went on an OkCupid. You greenlighted the OkCupid profile, and it's just an absolute disaster.
No, I didn't even do that much due diligence. This is like trolling Craigslist. This is not even like going on an OkCupid profile.
I'll take anything.
Yeah. Please send pics.
So we're going to be going into game 2 here. Alex is going to be on the play. Game 1, for those of you who missed it, Alex mulliganed to 5, ended up drawing, looks like 3 Blade Splicers, 2 Restoration Angels, and no white mana. Got stuck on 2 lands for the rest of the game, while Han actually ended up flooding out, but was able to overcome that and barely get the job done. So Han is going to be up a game as we predicted would occur. This game, we expect Alex to likely win.
Yep.
If he's able to keep any sort of reasonable hand, and it looks like he's kept his opening 7. And then game 3, Han will be on the play and hopefully be able to steal the game.
As a quick reminder, please only enter this contest if you actually do intend on going to Gen Con or you to win.
Yes. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. Don't just jack a badge. These things are very valuable. Gen Con is also a very cool experience, and we would like the winner of this contest to actually be someone who's going to go ahead and use the badge. So.
Yes. It will be much appreciated.
Yeah. So it looks like Han is taking a mulligan here.
So now, if I'm Han,
yeah,
this is the game where I want to be mulligan.
Yeah. I was going to win this one anyway, so whatever.
There's no way I'm going to win this. It's very unlikely I'm going to win this game. Sure, I'll mull to 5. It's no big deal.
Just concede and go on to game 3.
Yeah, forget it. Yeah, just screw it. Let's do this. I'll go through the motions. They have the deck list available to each other, so they know what's going to happen for the most part.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be any surprises. I'm going to get Celestial Purge for timely reinforcements. As we have our players beginning to file in for the Legacy tournament now, that's going to be starting within the hour. So if you guys are into the Legacies, as I am, definitely stay tuned for that after this match. We'll be doing the remainder of this match, doing an interview with our winner of the tournament.
Yep.
And then we'll be shotgunning over to the Legacy format.
We're going to take a break for a couple of rounds. We usually started at round 3, I believe.
Yes. As Alex just starts simply with a Seachrome Coast and a pass, which leads me to believe he may have a Thought Scour in his hand, some sort of cantrip, because he does play 12.
It's also possible that he just cut the Delvers, which I actually am a fan of in this matchup.
Yeah.
There's just too many deal 1 effects between the Treasure Slips, the Mortapods, I actually don't know if he has 2 Fume Spitters main, yeah.
Yeah, Delver isn't the way that he's going to beat him, and it's not the way that he needs to beat him either.
Right, you want to be on some sort of Blade Splicer, Restoration Angel, Snapcaster, My Celestial Purge. You want to be a grindy control deck in this matchup,
Yep.
and Delver just has nothing to do with that plan.
Yep. No reason to be the aggressor. You are the control deck. Zombies cannot play control against you.
Yeah.
You see an untap and a draw from Han, as you do see a Diregraph Ghoul in play, so he's at least going to be going to 18. Turning on every part of Timely Reinforcements right now.
How many copies of Timely does he have?
Just 2.
Okay.
We see a Cavern of Souls. My guess is it's going to name Human, but we will see.
It's on Human.
It is Human, and there it is. Timely Reinforcements number 1.
And we're going to game 3.
Yeah. Just that. That's all it takes for you.
Well, I think he's debating killing his Diregraph Ghoul in response.
I can't imagine.
I mean, the Diregraph Ghoul is you should probably hold on to your Dismember, but it is actually a debate because your Diregraph Ghoul is definitely worth less than the tokens.
I guess a Dismember would make it so that he doesn't gain life or
Yeah.
get any guys. So I guess it's a line of play.
Just turn it into Mind Rot.
Yeah. Just doesn't feel like a game-winning play.
Well, this also strikes me as not a good place to be in.
No argument. No argument there.
There's a Mortapod.
I think he's going to follow that up with a Dragon Skull Summit. I guess he'll just trade the stuff. Yeah, he's never blocked faster. Timely just getting.
I mean, if we're
all
gonna
this
do
value.
that, if we're gonna do that, then I would have much preferred
Dismembering
to
your own
dismember
guy.
my own.
Yeah, I agree with that because that
He's
trade's
up
just
6
bad.
life and he still has a token in play.
Yeah. I've never seen one man block faster.
Yeah, that was the
I've
fastest.
blocked pretty fast in my life. And he's going to actually take the Talrund approach in the sideboarded games. Okay.
I'm not a fan of this card here.
I don't think this is the matchup that you wanted in.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It's like so low impact the turn that you play it, and it's so much easier for Han to kill than Restoration Angel.
Yeah. This big follow-up Metamorph. He's probably just going to copy that. All right. Well, I'll get a 2/2 out of the deal, but I'll lose 2 life. But when Alex is at 20, this is going to bring him down to 22. That 2 life isn't terribly relevant.
Yeah.
It's not the best use of a gut shot, but I mean, I may have just got shot at the Mortapod token just to get that off of the table.
I mean, I guess when he still has a token in play, it's probably not.
Not the best.
Like he still has his Timely token or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's marginal in either way.
Etzel's hand right now is Snapcaster, 2 Vapor Snags. That Snapcaster has access to the Timely in the graveyard as well, so.
Let me see his list over here, because Vapor Snag is also not a card I'm a huge fan of in the matchup.
I like a few copies. I don't think that you need to have all 4 after sideboard.
So if we're, do we have 8 cards that we can reasonably bring in? 2 Timelies. No, I guess not. Okay.
You were looking for a way to be able to board out your Delvers and your Snags.
Yeah.
Find 8 cards to reasonably bring in. I think he's only got about 6 that he can reasonably bring in.
Yeah, we can make it a stretch and bring in Mental Misstep, but I don't think that card's particularly good.
I think you want it. I think you want it when you're on the draw.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 3 Diregraph Ghoul. 3 Messengers rather, and an Aristocrat.
All right. Well, if there is a hand that can pull him out of the situation, I think we have found it.
Well, this is also the hand where his Vapor Snags are going to be excellent.
That's unfortunate that that's true. And he is already a tad bit behind.
Although it is worth noting that he's still, I don't know if it's in his deck anymore, he still has a Singleton Bonfire of the Damned.
Sure, that can kind of pull him out of these situations. Yeah. He's definitely just going to bounce that. It's funny because Diregraph Ghoul is pretty good against Vapor Snag with the way that the card is designed, but in the current situation, not so much.
Yeah. Not when you have a million of them in your hand.
Gitaxian Probe is going to show that Han has drawn another Mortapod. to go along with those 3 messengers and aristocrat. And he's also going to get in. This is going to take the opportunity to block there and kill Snapcaster Mage. So the clock that Alex is presenting is okay. It's nothing crazy. It just got worse.
There's a wrap. There's a wrap.
Ring a bell. Yeah, I mean, we're going to go through the motions at this point, but this game is more or less over within 2 to 3 turns.
He still has a. He still can draw.
Bonfire. He does have Bonfire if it's in his deck. That's true.
You can always draw a Bonfire.
That's why you put it in your deck.
Yeah.
Because it's always an out.
It's not there to not draw.
That's true. That's more expert analysis by you.
Yeah.
However.
Well, I mean, that was sort of my response. Back in the day, anytime anyone got mad when I top decked,
sure.
it's like, it's not in the deck to not draw it. Yeah. It's there because I'm trying to draw it.
It's the most rational response.
Yeah.
So we see another
plays his Mortapod here.
Another Mortapod comes into play. Ponder is going to let Alex find whatever he wants. And I did see a checklist card, which means he does have Delver in after sideboard.
Yep.
I do agree with you that boarding those out is probably more ideal. You don't want to keep a hand. You don't want to get yourself into a trap where you're going to keep a hand that's based around Delver and Delver flipping.
Yeah.
And then it gets killed, and that's not the route you should be taking to try to win the matchup.
Yeah. Like, you just have no edge in a short game against zombies. Your edge is all from a long game.
Yeah, they can't beat you if the game goes long.
And you can sideboard in such a way that their tragic slips are a little wonky, and their fume spitters don't do very much. It's something you can do. So
we see an attack from Alex, just clearing some things off the table. Another Ponder here will let him set himself up for the future turns.
I think we're just shuffling away.
Yeah, we're just going to clear the top, shuffle away, draw a mystery card. I mean, this is the turn that Han needs to draw Bonfire the Damned to be able to get himself back into the game.
I mean, maybe it's possible Etzel cut his leaks. Is that a possibility? We haven't seen one yet.
It's possible, yeah. I don't know if... I mean, that's not a card I particularly want to cut on the play. I can see that being a card I want to cut on the draw, but...
Well, certainly all the things that you're saying are even more true about Delver of Secrets.
Yes, definitely. I think Delver is the card that's what I would assume is going to go. As he plays a Falcon Wrath Aristocrat and just passes. Vapor Snag is going to take care of that and this particular game.
Okay.
Yep.
So game 3, as predicted.
So this is the spot that Han needs to be in and wants to be in.
Yeah.
Game 3, 4 it all on the play. I mean, back is against the wall. He is not a favorite, but mulligans can occur, and so can nut draws.
Yep.
And this is a deck that does have a nut draw.
Yes, it most certainly does. So, I mean, are you sideboarding any different if you're on the play versus being on the draw here?
If I'm which player?
If you're Alex.
If I'm Alex, am I sideboarding any differently? I mean, I think that, I do want 2 mental missteps if I'm on the draw. The ways that I'm going to lose this game is just being run down and getting punked out just far too quickly. So that's going to stop that from happening. Even if it counters a Gravecrawler, that's still fine. That's still perfectly reasonable. My Purges are still staying in. My Time Reinforcements are of course still staying in. I do not like Talorun on the draw at all.
Yeah.
4 mana 2/2 that may or may not impact the board. I do not like. And then Phantasmal Image, I do not like much at all, as we are getting a blackout in our feature match right now. Phantasmal Image I'm not a big fan of either, so I don't think that much is going to change. We don't know if he brought Misstep in or not in that game, but if he didn't, he should definitely bring it in now.
Yeah. I don't know if he's brought him in or not, but I actually really like Spellbomb, Black Spellbomb out of the Zombie deck sideboard. Because his Snapcaster Mage just gets so much better after sideboard. And so you can also, in the grindy games, like Moorland Haunt definitely matters against you a lot too. And he has Pikes as equipment, although we're not sure if Pike is still in his deck.
Sure. I mean, it may just be the case of Nile Spellbomb is just better than his alternatives.
Yeah, I actually don't. Cards that I'm not a fan of that I like. I do not like Mortapod in this matchup.
Nor do I.
And I'm surprised to see it in the second game. And yeah, I mean that's the big one to me. It's like the card is so low impact. It's very good in the matchups where the fighting is all going on the ground, and it can make blocking, attacking and blocking very difficult for your opponent. And if the game drags out, you have Gravecaller plus Mortapod as a way to sort of, curse scroll your opponent out.
Sure.
But this game is Etzel's going to be all in the air, and Mortapod doesn't really contain any threats with the exception of Delver, which you already have a plethora of answers for.
Sure, and you don't want to. What you don't want to do is dilute your deck so much that you have too many answers for Delver. And I mean, you don't want to have too many answers for that card where it's not that relevant a card in the matchup.
Yes.
So, and there's a good chance that he may just board it out this game, and then you're going to have answers to you're going to have all these answers to a card that isn't even actually in your opponent's deck.
Like if I was in Han's position, I would be happy to have Etzel have a Delver on the draw. I would be happy to have Etzel have a Delver in his opening hand, even if it was guaranteed to flip on his first draw. I believe it is that bad.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you.
It's like, A, you have a lot of ways to kill it on your, on your second turn, and B, even if it flips, it's like, all right, well, cool. Now he's attacking me instead of just building up this wall and eventually burying me under Blade Splicers and Restoration Angels.
Yep. So as we just did get our lighting problems fixed, I did just see Fume Spitter in Han's sideboard. He just kind of flashed that through the camera there.
I like a Fume Spitter a lot more than I like a Mortapod.
I think that you just want to pressure your opponent. I mean, even though it's a 1-mana 1/1, it does attack.
Yeah, damage is damage, man.
Yeah, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to take his opponent from 20 to 0, as dumb as it sounds. Yeah. And Mortapod is not a card that's very well equipped to do that.
Yeah, it's good in, like I said, it's very good in the grinding matchups.
Sure.
And in the black, we're taking a break. Alex is
nervous.
Going to the restroom.
He's nervous.
Some nerves.
Yep, it's too much for him to handle.
But yeah, I like it in the grinding matchups a lot. I also like it a lot more in the blue-black version because then Gravecaller plus Captain plus Mortapod can be
it's going to give
permanent kill spell.
Yeah, it's going to give you more reach. Yeah. That way, but when you're
it's actually 3-mana terror with buyback.
Sure. Sure.
Death Touch plus.
Sure.
But the red-black deck doesn't have that kind of angle. The power in the red-black deck comes from it being Curse Scroll in that position, and that's just not how these games are going to play.
Yeah, that's not ever how the games are going to play. I mean, yes, the games are going to go longer, which is what Alex is looking to accomplish, but it's not going to go long enough that where you replaying Gravecaller, throwing at him, equipping, throwing at him, that sort of thing with 6 mana, dealing him 2 damage a turn. It's not something that's going to realistically happen. Right. And the longer the game goes, the longer he's going to be able to find timely reinforcements and then Snapcaster it as well. So it's just not a realistic option to try to play that long of a game.
And he has Celestial Purge to bring up your Gravecaller, so it's not even guaranteed if you draw both the pieces that...
Yeah, that's the thing that's even going to happen.
Right.
Sure.
All right, so it looks like we're on our way here. Game 3 for the Star City Games Las Vegas Standard Open title.
We're going to see if Han can steal Game 3.
Yeah. I mean, if Etzel has Blade Splicer on turn 3 on the draw, and Han can respond with a Aristocrat, he's got real game.
Yep.
And if Etzel doesn't draw Blade Splicer or timely reinforcements, Han has some real game.
Agreed.
And other than that, it's some things have to break exceptionally well for Han to be able to take the match.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think, just all things being realistic here, if I'm in the position that Han's in, I'm thinking to myself, I'm hoping that Alex at least mulligans once.
Yep.
I think just giving myself an opportunity, hopefully he's on 6 cards instead of 7, or, his 6-card hand is, needs to cantrip a couple times to be able to find his white sources. Yeah. Something like that. Like, things obviously need to break my way, and I think the first part of things breaking my way is when he looks at his first 7 cards, and he either has to keep a sketchy hand or can't keep his first 7.
Yeah. But Han also needs to keep a hand with a reasonable amount of pressure. Also, I think that Etzel's hand, the second game was good enough that pretty much no matter what Han's draw was like, Etzel probably would have won.
Yes.
But Han definitely did himself no favors by keeping a hand that couldn't really put any early pressure. Now that said, if I was in Han's position, I probably would have kept that hand because I feel it's very hard to mulligan a hand that has lands and spells plus red-black dual land, given the colored mana issues the deck has.
Sure.
But that hand was definitely in the lower range of keepable hands, certainly. It's either the lower range of keepable hands or the top range of mulligans. It's in that very, it's right on the fence there.
What he can't afford to do is keep a hand like he kept game 1.
Right.
Because I think the only reason that hand worked out is because Alex did mulligan to 5. All right, here we go.
Ooh, Duress.
We see Delver.
We're looking at Delver, Restoration Angel, Ponder, Gataxian Probe, and 3 lands. I had to assume we're taking Ponder out of this hand.
Yeah, I would be taking Ponder.
Not a particularly good hand for Alex.
No, given what the matchup is about, this hand is not particularly impressive at all. And I think that Ponder was one of the more important cards that he was going to have in his hand.
Okay.
So he's going to pass back. His draw step for the turn is Thought Scour. He's going to play Delver of Secrets.
Okay.
And he's not going to get Gataxian Probe, which is a little bit of a surprise to me.
Well, what is he Gataxian Probing for?
I mean, I guess he can just wait till next turn. And then he can
you
get
don't
his
want to take the 2
information.
points
Sure.
when you don't have to.
Blood Artiste.
This is a card I also do not like. All right, here we go. Nope. Now he has drawn Thought Scour, so he can Thought Scour whatever it is that he just saw that he doesn't want.
Yep. And he's going to
It's
do
a
that.
land.
Glacial Cavern. Draw
Another land. I think he might have.
He did not draw for his turn.
Stop. Get the.
He drew from Thought Scour. He did not draw for his turn.
Yeah. And he just drew a pike.
Sure. So there's your Gataxian Probe.
Not a bad hand. Is that what's the black card over there?
Messenger.
This is Messenger.
Yep. I'm almost positive that's a Messenger.
If his hand's Messenger, Brimstone Volley, Aristocrat Land, it's about as good as you can ask for.
Yeah.
Etzel's hand's pretty poor. He has some cantrips and a pike, and but he has no Celestial Purge, no Blade Splicer, none of his impact cards.
If that card is a Messenger, he's in a fairly good spot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And yeah, he tapped.
All right, there it is.
That's a Messenger. Okay.
Etzel definitely under the gun here.
Checking for Delver. He really wants that to flip, of course. That's not a flip again.
We're looking at another thought. Yeah, did he draw a Thought Scour off his draw step or something?
I'm not positive. I can't get a good look at his hand. I mean, I think the only reason he'd be
tanking if that was the case. Yeah.
So this is going to be a Snapcaster Mage. So this means that and the Ponder's going to resolve and get things set up.
I don't know if there's a spell in the top 3.
Delver was one of the cards that we saw. I'm not sure what the other 2 cards are, but if Han
I think it was Delver land plus maybe Gut Shot.
Okay, if Han has a land for Aristocrat, this is a completely different game.
Right. I think if that's a Gut Shot, I think it's a Delver. I think the problem is, I'm not positive that was a Gut Shot. The problem is that he wants a Gut Shot, draw Gut Shot right now. But if he draws Gut Shot right now, that means his Delver doesn't flip if the other 2 cards were Delver land.
Sure. And this is going to be Vulcanwrath Aristocrat plus an attack. So things are going well right now.
All right. Han's in the driver's seat. And this is also what I was talking about Delver of Secrets. Like, obviously it hasn't flipped, so that's not entirely a fair critique, but it's not where he wants to be in these games. You know what I mean? I don't like the equipment so much either. Like,
that's just not what these games are about.
His deck is just not. There's a lot of incongruous parts. All right, there's the Gut Shot.
Sure.
Right.
There's a Gut Shot now, and that's going to flip and that sort of thing. But how good is this Gut Shot right now?
Yeah, it's not. To quote our man James Gates, it's not good.
It's not good. It's not good. I mean, are you going to kill Blood Artist and deal 3 to yourself?
Yeah.
Like, it's not, because your other targets aren't very good.
And you know he still has Brimstone Volley
in his hand.
Yeah.
So you have to play around the morbid of Brimstone Volley, dealing me at if I'm Alex right now, I'm looking at my life total. It says 11. I'm actually at 6.
Right. And then there's also a messenger in play plus aristocrat. So
Sure. So I'm actually at 4. And if I have a gut shot in my hand, I'm actually at 2.
And I'm not even close to attack. I'm not. But this is before we even started about like how do I even start attacking?
Yeah. How do I start actually killing my opponent?
Yeah.
I can't do that either. And if I'm blocking, then Blood Artist is tick, 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 tick.
So we're in the tank here. This is pretty complicated. You know, Etzel is he hasn't drawn any of his aces.
Sure, he hasn't drawn any aces, and I mean, it's not like Restoration Angel is particularly bad right now, but it's not particularly good either.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, the problem is that Etzel is now in a position where he just simply cannot trade in combat. Like, because of the Brimstone Volley and what his life total is like, and the Blood Artist as well. He can't just like, all right, I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna block and I'm gonna trade off the board. That window's closed, so he's got to find some way to deal with Han's pressure that involves like vapor snagging and celestial purging and doing some like kind of weird stuff. He can't just like play Restoration Angel and block.
Sure,
can't do that anymore.
Now this is a situation if you're Han where you just need to take a moment and just think through your turn.
Right.
When you're playing against Delver and they have 4 mana up, there's a bevy of things that they can have. You don't want to overthink yourself, but you don't want to underthink yourself. Yes, they have Snag. Yes, they have Restoration Angel. All of that stuff.
Well, he knows about the Restoration Angel because of the duress on turn 1. He knows that that's on the table. So if you're going to make this block, we had to gut shot the Blood Artist, right? There's no other choice.
Well, no, he doesn't have to because what he can do now, he's going to sacrifice this here.
So we're going to get a trigger, right? Or I guess we're still debating about what we're going to do.
Yes. I mean, gut shotting Blood Artist is just like such a losing situation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something. This is part of the reason that Blood Artist is such a good card. Like
right.
when you're in combat, because and especially when gut shot is the one way that you're gonna be able to deal with it, is because this is just lose for Alex.
All right. Yeah, it appears that he's letting the triggers resolve, so we're gonna get a 3 spot.
So that's gonna put him down to 8. Restoration Angel is gonna do some blinking. Okay.
Okay.
So a volley puts. I mean, you're definitely casting Brimstone Volley this turn.
Yeah.
And that's gonna put him down to 3. Like, there's no reason not to cast it. The window's open.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
Puts you down to 3, and if he has any creature, the game is over.
Yeah. Does he have a guy? No.
No guy. Gut shot's off.
Yeah.
But Alex's draw step is on.
So this needs to be. We need Timely here. Pretty bad.
Timely's one of the better draws right now. I'm not sure how well Celestial Purge affects this game state.
It's not a lot.
I mean, I know the cards that are in Alex's hands. We have a Delver, we have a Pike, we have a Gut Shot. I don't know if he has any other cards outside of that besides those 3, but if those
another Delver. Yeah, Delver, Pike, Gut Shot.
Delver, Pike, Gut Shot, and I think X. And I think X is Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah.
None of those cards are very good right now.
Right, I'm not even sure how he's like. How does he even block?
Yeah,
Like next turn,
Yeah.
he can't let his own guys die or
any of the guys through.
Right.
Yeah. And you want to play Walking Corpse. Patrick. Winner.
Wow, congratulations to Hank Gu. A pretty impressive win right there. Not the matchup you would want to see.
Not the matchup he wants to see, not the build he wants to see, but he was able to overcome
Yeah.